Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Gamertag Radio.
Welcome to a brand new episode here at Gamertag Radio, episode 1431. This is your host, Danny Peña, and also joining me this episode of GTR, we have Riana Manuel-Peña.
Hello out there.
How you doing?
I'm great. I'm really excited for today's episode because we've been waiting to talk about some of these things, and I cannot wait any longer.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. But first, everyone, make sure to head over right now to gamertagradio.com. Listen to our past episodes. Also, you can find us on any podcast app. Just search for GTR, Gamertag Radio. Will pop up. Actually, you even probably could search like your favorite games, and most likely we have covered that game, and it will also pop up on all podcast app. Make sure to take advantage of that and listen to our interviews and so on. Especially during Summer Game Fest, we posted a lot of episodes, and the last episode we talked a lot more about like Nintendo Switch, Summer Game Fest, all that stuff. So make sure to check it out. All right. Also, if you'd like to be part of our family discussion segment, here's how you could contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
Yeah, so shout out to everybody that's been leaving us messages on Discord and so on. Make sure to continue. Join us there or send us messages through SpeakPipe. But I know that Rihanna has a lot of things to say, and also have an interview in this episode with Supermassive. I sat down with them and played their newest game that's coming out, Directive 8020. By the way, Ree, great game. I know you're not into horror games. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. But make sure just to stay tuned here. It's going to be on later this episode of GTR. So, all right. So, first game, Ree. Because I know you played. I played a little bit, but then some people came and interrupted my session, so I couldn't really complete it. My whole session. We got to play Mixtape. You played the full demo. I played maybe 5 to 7 minutes of the game. But tell us about Mixtape. How was your playthrough? How was the whole session for you?
Well, before I start, I have a lot to say, and I'm curious to know what your thoughts are without, my influence, because you haven't talked to anybody else about this game either.
No. Actually, I really enjoyed the first few minutes. It felt very 90s, very, very 90s. It reminded me a lot of like growing up in Miami and so on. Like there was like certain things I got to see in the game, and just like, the characters using like skateboards or listen to type of music, and I also love that Annapurna also took advantage of that decade, going to the booth. There was a lot of that. Like you would get to see like tape recorders in there, radio and so on. Like it was cool feeling that. But yeah, it was cool. I really had a good time. I just wish there was the full demo, but I felt the vibe just playing within seven minutes. Actually, the first couple seconds you get to feel that, So it was good. I just wish it was the full version for me, the full session.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm.
So I can't talk about this experience without spoiling what's in the demo. And speaking to the developers who were so gracious to answer several of my questions while I was playing, this demo is not available anywhere else. So if you want to go into your experience with Mixtape completely fresh without any spoilers whatsoever, I'm going to be spoiling some stuff in the early game. And obviously there's much more to come, but it's impossible to talk about it without getting detailed. So if you're really into Mixtape and you want to go in fresh, please skip forward a few minutes in the podcast. So, Danny,
sure.
I want to start with this one because it's my game of the show.
Oh, your game of the show. Interesting.
It's my game of play days. Okay. Absolutely. And I played a lot. I'm not going to name everything I played because it's honestly too much. However, this has stayed with me since then. It was one of the first things I played, and I could not stop thinking about it. I remember I came out of this mixtape demo, and I went straight to you in Paris, and I was like, you have to play mixtape. Do you have an appointment? And you're like, no. I was like, you got to fix that. I said it to everybody I saw. Everybody who had seen it said, did you play mixtape? And I'm like, yes. Did you play mixtape? They're like, yes. And you're like, you get it, right? And like, yes. And then we became like these obsessive evangelists the rest of the weekend. Just like all we could talk about was mixtape, because it was such a unique demo and such an incredible experience. So hopefully everybody who wants to stay clear of spoilers had enough time to skip forward by now. What you do in this hands-on is you're playing through the beginning credits, like the opening scene of the game, and a few scenes after that. And it's fairly short. I would say it was only maybe 20 or so minutes long. And the number of types of, I wouldn't call them mini games, the number of types of game interaction loops that I saw was, I lost count. There is this really great experience where you're playing through the opening credits and kind of skateboarding down a really long, winding road. And every time there is a car approaching, you and your friends say "car" and then move over to the side. Just that little bit let me know that this game is going to hit me right in the nostalgia feels, because like, how many times have you done that, right? You're playing in the street and someone's like "car" and you gotta pause your activity, move over to the side. And there are so many sweet little moments like that that just feel so familiar. And this world feels so lived in, even though it's highly stylized in the art direction, but it's absolutely beautiful. So you're talking about, walking around somebody's room, like looking at old VHS tapes of MTV video episodes, or you're looking at Polaroids that you clipped up on the wall from your friends at a really wild party. And then as you're looking at one of the Polaroids and you have a little mini game finding them all in your room, remembering those experiences as you go along, you put the last one up on the wall that you needed to find, and then you zoom into the Polaroid, and then you re-experience that night out that you had with your friends where somebody got wasted and you had to run from the cops together. Like, and it becomes a chase scene. And it's like there's a lot of like reality bending moments like that, but they feel so grounded that you forget that it's not real. And it is so effective, and it really, really hits you. And you're, I mean, I keep saying feels, but it's a very emotional game, even though it's fun and silly and like completely surreal. And there's one scene in particular where you're talking to your friends and they're making fun of you about this guy that you used to date, right, as the lead character. And then you said, yeah, I remember, when it was good, or I remember the good times. And then you kind of like, diddle-doo, fade back into your own memory. And it's a scene of you two kissing. And this is the scene that got most people. And as you're kissing, it becomes a game, and it zooms into inside your mouths, and you're playing as the tongues, trying to rub each other.
That was so random. I didn't know that was. Wow. So that was late in the game.
When I tell you, this is the moment, like right before it started.
Yeah.
All of the devs started coming kind of around my demo station, watching me and watching for my reaction. I was like, something crazy is about to happen, right?
Oh my god.
And as soon as it happened, I was like, oh my god. And they're like, yeah. It was the wildest thing I've ever done in a game demo. And it was funny, and the sounds were gross and accurate. And it was just like, there's so much to this game that is just, I've never seen it before, but at the same time, it all feels like I've absolutely experienced something just like that. And it's got like a lot of Boy Meets World, like talking directly to the camera inspiration, but then you play as multiple characters, like throughout the demo, you get like a hint of it, but I know in the larger game, there's more. And they told us that it can be finished in maybe one long setting, maybe two. So it's not an entirely massive game, but it's one that just really feels like a trip down memory lane, and with like a video game lens on top of it. And I'm so here for it. And I cannot wait to play this. It's so fun. And the narrative is really, really touching. And yeah, I'm in. Hopefully everybody else is in, because I can't wait to hear what everybody else thinks about this game.
So like, how the demo ended, was it like at a very important part of the game, like very important part of like the story, or was it like okay, like a quick stop? Like how was the vibe of the ending for that?
Yeah, so it
that
ends
demo?
shortly after the escape from the cop scene where you're pushing your wasted friend in a shopping cart down the street trying to run away from the cops. And they end up sort of like they make it all the way down to the water and then, of course, lose control of the cart and everybody goes flying into the lake or the river. And it becomes sort of like like a yellow submarine technicolor like 60s trippy world where they're all like completely smashed and flying through the air and it's like beautiful and then all of a sudden they're all wet and it's really really funny. So there's so much humor, like I said before, and it just feels so natural. And then there's a little bit of a hint at some mystery around like why you all are getting together for this trip down memory lane and how the other people you're with feel about whatever is about to happen next. So I won't give too much away on that part because
Okay.
I know that the story is obviously one of the big draws for this game, but Mixtape is honestly an unforgettable demo. I have never played anything else like it, and I cannot wait to get my hands back on this game.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, what was the other games you also got to play during?
Yeah, and I can go faster on the rest because I know this is a really packed episode.
Mhm.
But we both played Luminous and had obviously a really great experience with that. And we've shared before the stories of how how Tetris Effect Connected has been really special to us, particularly during the pandemic. And the game makes me very emotional. And I love being able to share that story with the creator. And
They were not
that got me
expecting
even
it.
more excited for Luminous. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
they
really
were like, "What?" They
it
got
was a
really
really
excited.
cool moment.
Mhm.
Another unforgettable hands-on experience. And this was my first time with Luminous. So Luminous 2. Um, and I've never
Arise,
tried
Luminous
it or even a
Arise.
little bit. So it was
Yeah.
cool to see how the skill set that I have in Tetris kind of translates into this type of puzzle game.
Mhm.
And my synesthesia was kind of like firing off because I was trying to like match my moves to the beats and I was seeing color and I swear I kept smelling something. And it's like, it definitely hit all of my senses in that really satisfying way. And that's another one I'm really excited for. And a couple of other shout outs. Pedal Runner was really unique. We talked to the devs. It's a 2-person team who made this game. It was so impressive. And it's got kind of like old school, like Pokemon vibes, but without all the fighting. Like it's just little world building, little discovery, some secrets, and some vibes, and really fun music. And that was a really pleasant game, and I'm excited to see that come out. Grave Seasons really surprised me. This is that Blumhouse game you forced me to play.
Oh, how was it? That was a cozy one.
The
Yeah.
cozy, scary game. It's kind of like a murder mystery, and it can change depending on what you do. So that was really intriguing to me. Kind of like trying to peel back the layers of the game design behind what I was actually seeing.
Mhm.
But it feels a lot like a Stardew, right? Like you're harvest mooning, you're chopping trees, clearing rocks, planting stuff in your farm and harvesting. But then like there's all these really hot characters. They're all very attractive. And they all like come in your space and like someone's acting a little funky and this person's a little too friendly and then all of a sudden somebody dies horrifically and you're like following the murder scene, like parts of their body like ripped up and you're trying to figure out what happened to them. That was the whole opening and I was like, oh snap. And they're like, yeah, so it comes out blah blah blah. I'm like, oh
That was
okay,
pretty strong.
that was really strong intro.
Yeah.
Excited to play that. And it wasn't like gross or like upsetting or any way. It was done in like a more of a, campy kind of way. And that I can handle. So I'm probably going to play it. That's one that's now on my list to play.
All right.
And then finally, this will surprise absolutely no one. Escape Academy 2. Shout out to Andrea Renee. I played through this demo with her and we were like in our puzzle solving jam. Like we had our little notebook and we're like scratching stuff out. And, like, here, this is a reverse alphabet and that's a cryptogram. And we're big nerds. So we absolutely love playing Escape Academy together. And this was no different. And they've gone even further, right? So instead of just solving puzzles in an escape room or a series of escape rooms, you're actually let out into the entire university, and the whole school is an escape puzzle. And there's little mini side quests you can do, and they've expanded the types of mechanics that you can interact with for all of the puzzles. So that was really fun and absolutely on my list of must plays. So there's honestly too many things to mention, but I had a great time with our hands-on, even though we were rushing from thing to thing like usual.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's a really good spread this year of like big games but smaller experiences. So I was really pleased with it. Did you feel that?
That was just an earthquake.
Yeah. You okay?
Yeah, it was just like it was shaking a lot. What the heck? Wait, let me confirm. Hold up. That gotta be.
It was. I felt it. Go to Twitter, search earthquake.
Yup, it was an earthquake.
It was. I felt it.
Yo, it lifted me up. Like it went like.
That was a big one.
Yeah. Okay, we'll continue. That was like right in the middle of the recording. What the heck? Yo. What the heck? All right, well.
So we were running around like crazy, as we usually are during Summer Game Fest, but it was wonderful. There was a huge variety of games, like big and small, and I'm really glad we were able to go again this year, and can't wait to play some of these when they come out.
No, that's good, and I'm very surprised that you got to like the cozy horror game or whatever mystery game. I'm glad that you like it. I was like, I think Ria's gonna like this. You were like, I don't know, it's horror. I'm like, this is a way for people that are not into horror. It's like more like an introduction, So. I feel like there's all types of horror games. There's like the bloody one, like the very scary one, and there's something that's just not scary at all. So
yeah, and
I'm glad that you like it.
Yeah, the developers described it as like sort of an entry point for cozy games, to people who like horror, but also in the same time, it's an entry point to horror for people who like cozy games. So it's where those two things can sort of meet in the middle. And really, it's a murder mystery, and I love Clue. That's absolutely my jam. So I was really attracted to it, and I'm gonna try to get through it.
Good. All right, everyone. We're gonna go now to my interview with Supermassive. I love their games. I play their games a lot in the past. This one I'm very excited. This one is called Directive 8020, and it's coming out very, very soon, actually. So we sat down. I got to play the demo. And after I played the demo, I started talking to the team about the game. So I'm going to play it right now here on Gamertag Radio.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
Hey, I'm Will Doyle. I'm a creative director on Directive 8020.
So I know you guys worked on a lot of titles in the past. What makes this one different than your previous titles?
So we like to call this one a narrative survival horror. Yeah, it's a narrative game in that, like our previous games, it's branching narrative. You've got to control multiple characters. Everyone can live or die. But it's survival horror as well, because now, kind of for the first time in the series, you can go up against real-time threats, and your survival will depend on your ability to hide from a monster that's trying to hunt you down and kill you.
And why you guys decided to make that change, now?
So it kind of, for me, like, we make horror games, and we're trying to make as scary as an experience as possible. And I don't think there's anything more scary than when you're in control, when you've got your hands on the sticks, and there's something kind of creeping around, hunting you down. We also we want to widen the appeal of the dark pictures. We sort of feel that we've got something special here. We've always thought our games are pretty unique. So the more players we can get in to play it, the more they'll see of what we do.
And how drastic is like the decisions that you make in this game? How much of the story is going to change, and how's that going to affect also the player based on your choices?
Yeah, so we kind of choices are always the core of what we do. There's a number of decisions you're making here which will be the life or death of your crew. we've got this kind of whole thing where in this game you're going up against a shape-shifting monster, so it can be, you know, any one of your crew, and you'll have moments where you'll have to make decisions based on whether you trust them or not. So it's pretty big compared to our previous games. We also have, you know, we have a lot of opportunities for death, and you know, when you kind of come into the end of the game, you can literally have any combination of characters alive at that point. You can even just have one solo character left alive at the end of it, and it can be any one of them, you know, so you can kind of play through it and go, hey, I like Isley, I wonder what this game looks like if she's the only one left alive at the end.
And you also could go back. I know you were showing me a new feature where you could go back and replay those moments and change your decisions. Is that also going to change a lot the story, or not?
Yeah, so that's the turning point system. So that shows you a kind of visual flowchart of the whole game. You can jump around and rewind to any point. So it's a method of, for our fans, it's kind of showing you all of the content available and shortcutting your ability to get to it. So previously, when you get to the end of the game, you could kind of restart from the beginning and look for different options. Now you could go, oh, I wonder what happened, you know, 2/3 of the way through if I did this, and you can go straight to that point and pick it up straight away. And you don't have to play through the whole game to get to that point, you know, right from the start it's available. But, you know, we're also aware that a lot of our fans like to they love to live and die by their decisions, you know. So there's also a kind of survivor mode you can play where you can't rewind and you have to stick to that one playthrough, you know. But you can still see the branches available, you just can't rewind.
Is that like a higher difficult level for that, or? Yeah,
so it's set by default. We have, you know, different difficulty settings. Its highest difficulty setting has no rewinds on it. We also have a custom difficulty setting, so you could go, I want to play it on easy difficulty but with no rewinds. You know, it's just one of the many toggles in that custom setting.
See, I know in the trailer it says don't trust no one, right? So I made a decision and killed a player, but he wasn't affected. He wasn't an enemy. So I got fooled because the way how he was acting. Is that going to be a lot of that moments in the game where you have to make a decision, but sometimes it's like you're guessing. You're not 100% if that's an enemy or not.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those moments. You know, in the bit that you played, also, he can or cannot be a monster depending on what happened earlier. But yeah, there'll be little. If you're keeping your wits about you, there's little tells now and again that you can kind of go, oh yeah, I think that's him. But yeah, you know, a number of your crew members can be effectively replaced, and there's even the option at the end of the game that, you know, you may not have noticed that, and somebody might kind of infiltrate your crew right to the end. You know,
is it possible for everybody to survive? Or I know that's really, really hard to do in the game. So is there a chance for someone to achieve that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can keep everyone alive. It is tough. Also, in this one, we listen to our fans, where we always have other kind of friendly characters in our games that you don't control, kind of like friendly non-player characters. And our fans have always said, oh, I want to keep those characters alive, but really they're cannon fodder. You know, they're characters we want to kill to show you the horror. In this game, there's a whole bunch of other members of the crew that you don't directly control, but they live or die by your decisions. So at the end of the game, I can keep all 5 of my characters alive, but then there's, you know, another 3 characters out there that I can keep them alive too. So there's a kind of perfect ending you can get. And by the same token, there's a flip of that. There's everyone dies, you know.
And that happened to me in one of your games, so I'm like, oh my god, the game ended very quickly because of that. So you gotta be very smart of that. So the main actress, what's her name?
It's Lashana Lynch.
How was the process of working with her? Because she's doing a pretty good job in this game.
Yeah. She's been amazing. She's an absolute star. But I mean, literally, she's one of the probably the biggest star we've had. Like even at the time of casting, she'd been in 007, No Time to Die, Captain Marvel, and since then she's just gone on. You know, Bob Marley and Dare the Jackal, and you know, so. Yeah, she's great. You know, it's been amazing working with her. Like when we make these games, it's kind of like making a movie. You know, we go through casting agencies, and when we realised we had an opportunity to get Lashana, we were like, oh wow. And then when we got her, we were pinching ourselves because we were like, she's...
And why? What was the decision? Like, I think she would be the perfect actress to be in this game. Why you guys made that decision?
So for us, there's a whole bunch of stuff. One of the interesting things is that we were looking for a British actress. The crew, this is a big space mission to save humanity. So it's a multinational crew. You've got kind of Turkish astronauts and Dutch astronauts, Americans, and the star's British. So we were looking for a British actress there. So yeah, Lashana was one of the names that came up. And
no, when is the official date for this game?
October 2nd.
All platforms?
Yeah, all platforms out on October 2nd. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say, man, congrats. I can't wait to play the full game when it releases in October. So
awesome, thank you. I can't wait for everyone to play it. It's going to be awesome.
Thanks, man.
This is Gamertag Radio. Voicemail at 786-2737-GTR.
All right, so we're back here. Shout out to Supermassive. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and the interview. It was a lot of fun. I hope we could, check out my session while I play this. We'll see.
We'll see.
You got to see me play other games.
My fingers, hold my hand in front of my face.
You got to see me play The Quarry.
The Quarry felt more like kind of like a campy slasher movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you enjoyed it. You looked at it. Yeah,
it was fun.
Okay. It's like a little movie, little long movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Head over right now to Gamertag Radio. Post your comments. Let us know your thoughts about this episode, and we'll be back next week with more content. Until next time, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.